and let us all do we can to build a better future.
This is a video that's going to be difficult to talk about, but we have to address it. Stephen Donziger, he is a hero. He is someone who should not be behind bars. And he is, again, the individual that took Chevron to court and won. He won for the Ecuadorian people, the native people there. For those of you who don't know, Chevron, again, this corporation polluted the ecosystem as well as the communities of the people living in Ecuador. What's his reward? Well, first he got 2 years of house arrest, which is unfair. And now for misdemeanor, he is behind bars. I know, I never heard of that either. Misdemeanor, and he's behind bars, like, and it's really kind of sickening what's happening to him and his family. But he has friends. This is a video. It's about 6 minutes long, but I urge you to listen. This is from Roger Waters. He is reading a statement from Stephen Donziger. And we need more people to speak out for Stephen Donziger. Faze, if we can, let's play this video in its full entirety.
Okay, hi. This is more on the Stephen Donziger saga. I didn't speak. I exchanged emails this morning with Laura, Stephen's wife, and she sent me this, which is fascinating. It's something that he wrote yesterday in prison. I'm going to read it, and then I shall post my reading of it. Okay, here we go. This is from Stephen. Today is day 12 of my prison sentence, 168 days to go. I can do this. To be clear, I'm the only person in this entire prison on a misdemeanor. Nobody here seems to understand why I am here. That comes from the residents, known officially as inmates, and some of the staff. There are so many people in such a small space, there is little physical room even to think. Buses arrive almost every day, bringing more men in chains, handcuffs, and shackles. My bunk room started with 54 men. Last week there were 73 men with the same amount of crowded space. 3 showers, 2 phone lines, and 2 computers from which you can send emails if you pay the prison service. Those who don't have money can make 20 cents an hour on a prison job. When the prison had 700 people last summer, it was at 140% capacity. It now has 900 men. I've had time to think about things, and one thing I can't get my mind off is the connection between the suffering of the indigenous peoples and farmer communities in Ecuador and the suffering of so many I'm seeing right in front of my eyes in Danbury. Dystopian system dysfunction. I mean sentences of 15 to 30 years for non-violent crimes. Stories of prosecutorial abuse that shock the conscience. To be clear, research shows the United States has no more crime than any other industrialized country in the world. Yet our prisons are stuffed and growing largely because our sentences are often 5 times or more longer than those in the rest of the world. Locking up a human rights lawyer is its own new frontier in an expanding and carceral system. I am one of about 135,000 federal prisoners. We have 6% of the world's population. He means we, the US, I guess. But 23% of its prisoners. When I graduated from college, there were about 30,000 federal prisoners, and street crime has dropped dramatically since then. Back to Ecuador. Luis Yanza, my longtime friend and the leader of the Amazon Defense Coalition, which is the main group behind the pollution lawsuit against Chevron, sent a lovely note the other day expressing solidarity. My clients in Ecuador get what is happening. They understand my jailing is a step further on the spectrum of attack by Chevron that started with the discovery of oil at Largo 1 well in 1967. A discovery that ended up with Texaco driving the Cofan, that's the name of the indigenous tribe at Largo Algo. out of their ancestral lands and decimating their culture due to pollution and population expulsion. 28 years later, the well is still operating, and one of the lawyers who helped win the historic pollution case, ordering a clean-up of what became the Amazon Chernobyl, is in prison in a criminal prosecution financed by Chevron and carried out by a private Chevron law firm. Hang on, I have to move my phone.
Those are his audio effects. By the
The
way.
fact that they have gone to such lengths after our historic victory and don't even care to hide it is another sign of our effectiveness. Ultimately, that kind of craven behavior by Chevron cannot be sustained. Our fight continues, and I promise I will emerge stronger and hopefully better as a person. Please keep letters and books coming. They lift my spirits so much, and I share them with my new friends inside. I think tonight of Rosa Moreno, the heroic and indefatigable nurse in St. Carlos, who succumbed to cancer in 2017 because Chevron refused to clean up its toxic waste. And I think of a new friend here, name unmentioned, denied compassionate release twice by a judge, even though he, the new friend, had COVID, and even though the prosecutor had sent him to jail, consented to his freedom. We cannot let our justice system become a tool of privately financed injustice. We cannot let our systems fail like this. More soon. Thanks, Roger. Oh, that's from Laura. So there you go, guys. That's Stephen yesterday. So we must keep up the good fight to get him released as soon as possible. And we must keep the calumny of both Louis A. Kaplan and Loretta Preska in the public view, and shine as bright a light as we can on it until some justice is done. Thanks.
All right. Look, Stephen Donziger needs to be free. The entire court hearing that he had to go through was a joke, is a joke, and it's an embarrassment to our entire legal system. We've talked about how our political system is corrupted to the core. We've talked about how elections are rigged. We talked about how there's no election integrity, and now here we are witnessing, and as we've covered before, the failure of the justice system. The wrong person is behind bars. Now, thankfully, Stephen Donziger is surrounded by a lot of wonderful, caring, compassionate people. He is not alone. He has friends and family and strangers who agree with his work, who support his work, and feel that what happened to him is wrong. And we all here at Heartlands Media agree as well that Stephen Donziger should be freed immediately. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Doors open, he's free, it's done. He doesn't deserve this treatment. And here we're hearing his voice talking about the prison system, the prison industrial complex. This fight involves us all. And if we don't fight for that better future now, I dread to think about what's going to happen when the next person like Stephen Donziger exposes corruption and abuse. Daniel.
We should not stop the fight just because people might try and take a feudal perspective on the situation. This all happens because a large corporation didn't want to tell shareholders that they lost money, so they discredited the person who did that. It was way cheaper to do that than to do anything else. And here we are. Lost his license for law, in jail after serving 2 years. Another appealing.
Yep, that's correct.
We can only hope that that does something. It does seem to be very specific to the judge that heard his case.
Mm-hmm.
What more can we do than what that letter asked? Send him books, letters, and well wishes, and hope that he has it covered in the appeal.
Yeah. And we here at Heartlands Media will keep on covering this story because it's important. Because we believe in free speech. We believe in those that will stand against those that will fight against corruption. We stand with Stephen Donziger. And I ask all of you to do the same thing as well. Final note for this, Roger Waters and anyone else that's supporting Stephen, please read his statements. The whole world needs to hear his voice. He is a fighter. And thank you, Roger Waters, for reading that statement out. And we here at Heartlands Media will keep on covering this story.